If you're old enough, you probably remember Donald Trump as more than the 45th president. You probably remember him as the guy who repeatedly uttered the phrase, "You're fired." And he did it for any number of reasons, but could he have done it solely because one of the apprentices was a surrogate? Well, in today's episode, we're going to discuss, can I get fired for being a surrogate? Hello, I'm Corlandos Scott, and I'm a surrogacy attorney in Los Angeles. So basically, my practice revolves around helping people grow their families through assisted reproductive technologies like surrogacy. And in today's episode, I'm going to break down how surrogacy affects a surrogate's work schedule, whether being a surrogate is a valid reason to get fired, and when a surrogate might actually get fired. Let's do it. Well, before we talk about getting fired, let's discuss for a bit what obligations do surrogates have that could affect whether or not they're employed. So this raises the question, can surrogates even work or get employment while being a surrogate? Can you be a surrogate and have a full-time job too? When you're a surrogate, the surrogacy process requires a number of commitments, and each with varying levels and degrees of time and energy. You've got appointments to make and keep with the surrogacy agency, the IVF doctor and clinic, your obstetrician, even your attorney. You've got documents to review, so you'll need to read them and then schedule and execute a consultation with your attorney. You have to spend time negotiating and agreeing to the contract that you'll end up signing, and you have to go get the thing notarized and all of that good stuff. And don't forget about the medical appointments and procedures. You know, the screenings, the testings, the counselings, the scans, and on and on and on. So can you still maintain your normal day-to-day life and responsibilities when you're also a surrogate? Well, in short, yes, you can. Because, you're every woman. It's all in you. So now that we know that you're physically and logistically capable of working and being a surrogate, that leaves the question, can you be fired for being a surrogate? Now, to be clear, I'm not a labor and employment attorney, so I'm discussing this from the position of being adjacent to people sorting through these questions. This is not legal advice. So if you're dealing with an employment issue, go speak with an employment lawyer. But with that said, can you be fired just for being a surrogate? And the answer has to be no. At least you shouldn't be fired on the sole ground that you're a surrogate. And why? Well, in short, because that type of termination basically amounts to pregnancy discrimination. Now, pregnancy discrimination involves treating a woman, an applicant or an employee, mind you, unfavorably because of pregnancy or childbirth or a medical condition related to pregnancy or childbirth. And in case you're new to this channel, surrogacy is definitely related to pregnancy or childbirth. Let's look at another basic premise. If your employment includes some type of employment contract, then the grounds for termination should be in the employment contract. Now, I would bet dollars to donuts that being a surrogate is not one of the listed grounds for termination in any employment contract. Well, at least I don't think it should be. Well, what if there is no employment contract? Some states operate under an at-will employment model, like California. Now, this implies that an employer can terminate at any time for any reason. So theoretically, if you're an at-will employee, then your boss could terminate your employment for almost any reason. Now, notice that I said almost. An employer can't terminate you for any illegal reasons. An employer may be sued for other employment wrongs like discrimination, retaliation, terminations that violate public policies, or violations of specific statutes, like the statutes protecting whistleblowers, or the statutes who allow employees to take family or medical leave. Now, I said I'd talk about when being a surrogate might get you fired. Before I do, let's talk about what might get me fired off of YouTube. And that's if you don't click the like button. Yeah, YouTube may fire me. And I don't want that. So please smash that like button. And while you're at it, go ahead and subscribe. I might get like a YouTube promotion or something. And you won't miss new episodes. Okay, so I know it sounds contradictory. I just said you shouldn't be able to be fired for being a surrogate. And now I'm going to tell you when being a surrogate might get you fired. Stick with me. To be honest, I'm just playing with words. Here's what I mean. Being a surrogate is not a lawful and valid reason for getting fired, but if your work performance is incidentally affected by being pregnant or being a surrogate and what it takes to be a surrogate, then that's another issue altogether. So if your being a surrogate causes you to miss work without notice, you might get fired. If you begin a pattern of being late without a valid reason, you might get fired. If you're not completing your work or your work product is lacking, you guessed it, you might get fired. In essence, the reason that you could get fired while being a surrogate are the reasons almost anyone could be fired at any time. Also, here's something that should bring you comfort. Surrogacy agencies and fertility clinics who work with surrogates, they understand the ins and outs of a gainfully employed surrogate. So most times they're going to work with you to try to schedule appointments and meetings and other things like that at a time that's convenient for you in order to avoid any conflict with your other commitments like work and even family. So my word of advice is to bring your job and your work schedule into consideration at the very beginning of your surrogacy journey. That way you can make a plan for how to balance your responsibilities as a surrogate and as an employee. Hesitate to reach out to me. Here's how you can do it. Just click the link in the description below and you will automatically start a chat with me. That's right. Let's chat. I look forward to chatting with you.